Hi everybody, welcome to Fish with Bish. You find us in the tackle den today. Got the log burner on. I've been in here most of the morning, having a bit of a sort out, having a look round, seeing what's what. A few things that I might change, a few things that are going to stay the same. But let's get down to business. It's 5 Minute Friday. What we're looking at today are the pole floats, different types of pole floats and what I use them for, what people use them for. I might be slightly different than other guys and people use them differently, but they've all got their different capabilities and the different idiosyncrasies. You can see there's loads of different types, and we'll just run through a few now. So stick on the timer, have a cup of tea, have a cup of coffee, keeping it warm in a tin cup on top of the fire. So let's stick the 5 Minute Friday timer on. Let's get down to it. 5 Minute Friday. Up there. Put it up there. Yeah, up there somewhere. Right, here we have a pole float. This is it's a bottom heavy pole float, and it's quite a big one, to be perfectly honest. They come a lot more delicate than this. But what I wanted to show you first of all was the makeup of a pole float. So you have the bristle, which is the top part, which is normally brightly coloured so that you can see it against the water. You then have the body of the float, which contains the buoyancy which keeps it up. So the bigger this is, or the shape that it is, helps with the buoyancy of the bait. So the bigger the buoyancy, the bigger the bait. Simple as that. You then have this, which is called the stem. There's several different types of stems for different types of fishing. Very quickly, you've got a carbon stem, which is quite bendy and flexible and quite light. You have a glass stem, which is a little bit more complicated. It's very, very light but quite strong. And then you have a wire stem. I've got to be honest with you, I quite like a wire stem, because what happens is, obviously if it's wire, it's got a bit of weight. So as soon as it hits the water, with the help of your shots as well, it'll straighten the float up a lot quicker. So you get, as soon as your bait hits the water, your float virtually cocks itself. And cocking of a float literally means it's standing upright like that. Then obviously you've got to shot it and get it down to the depth that you want it. But we'll go into that on rigs. So first of all, let's show you a couple of these floats here. We've got a, same as that one that was just there. This is a body down float, which is the shape basically. So most of the bulk or the size of the float, let's just put it back over there, is at the bottom. So that like it's an egg shape and the weight is at the bottom. Now that obviously can carry quite a big weight. All these floats come in so many different sizes. But I just wanted to give you the quick lowdown on what the different floats look like. So that's your bottom down float. You then have what we call a Chianti float, which is very thin. There's two different types actually. So a Chianti float really has the shape of it is basically the same at the top and the bottom. I quite like these slim floats. But there's also that type as well, which as you can see, the bulk is at the top. And when I say bulk, I don't mean the weight. Most of the buoyancy is at the top. This one is a balanced float, so it's in the middle. And then obviously they're all made up of a stem, a bristle and a body. Okay. And then we have this, which is called a dibber float. Basically this is one that I use quite often. This is for when you fish up in the water. Basically it's a very buoyant float. As you can see, the difference with this is it has the stem, has the body, but it has no bristle. So basically it's like a red dot sits in the water, and what this is basically if the fish are up in the water in the higher levels, as it drops through the water with your bait on, and it can carry quite a hefty bait, this, even an 8mm, 10mm pellet, so quite a good bait, and it just sits with this tiny little orange bit sticking at the top of the water, and what you're looking for is any small indication really. That's what this is for. It's not a float that really goes under, or if it does, the fish has normally hooked itself. So there we go, that's a dibber float. Love these floats. These are also handy for in the margins, because they tend to be a short float or a small float like this. That's quite small. The depth of the water below it doesn't matter. Obviously what we'll be doing, I'll be showing you how to make rigs up on Big Earn in the coming weeks. But yeah, that's a dibber float. The dibber float comes in different shapes as well. We have that one there, which is slightly different than that one. Both work exactly the same. This one's even shorter. But obviously, if you're fishing up in the water, what you're trying to do is create sound that the fish can come to. You're ringing the dinner bell basically. So what you want is that to hit the water. That makes a plopping noise. But also what it does is, because it's so short as well, and there's no bristle on the top, because you're lifting up and dropping in quite often, lifting up and dropping in, or even slapping, which is flicking the float over, what can happen is, with other floats with a bristle and a longer stem, you can get into tangles, but these help brilliantly not getting into tangles. So that's your dibber, my favourite float I think. We have different variations on the floats, sizes, everything. I love these little floats here because I fish quite close in. Let me just hold that there so you can see. Ah, there you go. Because I fish quite close in, I don't need massive floats to see them. I like the fact that this is clear underneath. I think this is a Drennan puddle chucker, possibly. But cracking little floats these, absolutely adore these. And as I say, look how small that float is. And when you're using a pole, don't need to actually, you don't need the weight to cast it out. You're dropping it in, and delicacy is the answer. And that's a very delicate float there. Thanks very much for watching Fish with Bish. This has been 5 Minute Friday, talking about floats. We're probably going over the 5 minutes. But I've got to be honest, I don't care. Please leave a comment, please subscribe, and we'll see you real soon. Don't forget the live stream on Fridays also, 9 o'clock. We're back with a vengeance this evening. Thank you very much. See you real soon.